Before we talk about the Ravens, that Dan Campbell quote was that was a flex. He was like, no, we're just going to rep wins, and then the easier you do triceps, that's just easier on your triceps. That's crazy, the way the Lions went about that, and it's a perfect approach. Unfortunately for Baltimore, Manti, it came at the hand of Monday Night Football, and the Ravens ran into the Lions, and the Lions' run game was great. Manti, what'd you see from the Baltimore side of things?
Well, when I watched the game and I saw the Baltimore Ravens, I saw a team that reminded me of the Lions, and what I mean by that is they have an identity of playing really bruised, downhill, old-school football. But last night, they tried to get pretty with it. They tried to get fancy. Like, you saw that a lot in the red zone. Now, understanding what the Detroit Lions were trying to do defensively, they're going to run man coverage. Now, how do you beat man coverage? You beat it two ways. Number one, you play with the defense's eyes or you play with their leverage. And when they did play to the leverage, they got touchdowns. You saw that touchdown with Alex Anzalone. Great coverage, inside leverage on two-man. Better ball, better catch. That's how you beat man coverage. They also had it with Rashad Bateman down there. Outside leverage, hit him down there right on the inside, right here. This is the exact play. Outside leverage, bad eyes by the DB, Teron Arnold. Now, they lost their way in the red zone. They started doing halfback passes. They started rolling out Lamar Jackson on the outside and try to make too many things happen. Run the ball and play to the defense's leverage. That's all they had to do. So that's what I saw from it, Willie, is it was a team that was trying to get pretty. They were trying to get cute. And they were playing a team that realized what their identity was, and they went out there and executed it at a high level. So I think the Baltimore Ravens, if they are able to get back to what they do best, and that's run the football, they have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, run the ball, and then have the play-action pass off of that, especially if teams are going to play man against them a lot, they should have better outings.
Yeah, this isn't all about Derrick Henry's fumble. I also put this on Todd Monken, the OC for the Ravens, and I want to get this right because I felt like he got away from the run. In the first half, 47% pass plays, 52% run plays. Game tied 14-14 going into the halftime. Second half, 75% pass plays and 24% run plays. What we saw right there was Todd Monken once again run away from their identity. We saw this happen in the AFC Championship in 2003 versus the Chiefs. Second half, they put so much of that game on Lamar Jackson's shoulders, and they forgot who they were. And that's a downhill team that could run the football. Todd Monken, when things get tight, it seems like he pulls away from the run game, and they find themselves really looking for answers, and the clock runs out. When you're a run-dominant team and you have an offensive line and you have guys who can run the ball like Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and a cast of others, you have to stay committed to the run game. Look what happened to the Detroit Lions. They rushed the ball 38 times between Montgomery and Gibbs, and they were efficient. They marched down the field, they stayed patient, and they had kind of a boxer's mentality. Bang the body, the head will fall. That's exactly what happened. So if you're the Ravens right now, you have to figure out when things get tight, why do you run? Because Todd Monken right now, everything that we know the Ravens to be, it didn't show up when we needed to be last night. Lamar Jackson needed to be better, Derrick Henry needed to be better, and his offense needed to be better, and they weren't.
That's strong, Willie, and I think you're tapping into a lot of things there. But personally, where I always come out with the Ravens is I give them the benefit of the doubts. They lost week 1 to Buffalo, and it's like, it's all right. But, the Ravens are going to be there. We know they're going to be there in the end. They're too good. Their roster's too good. Their coach is too good. But you start to lose a little bit of that right now because let's look where we are after 3 weeks. You give up 41 points to Buffalo. You give up 38 points to Detroit. And someone might say, well, that's Buffalo and Detroit. Well, you're Baltimore. You're supposed to be one of the big dogs. And guys, you want to know where they're going next week? They're going to Arrowhead. So that's not a great place for the Ravens. There's not a lot of great history there. And there's the mystique about the Chiefs. I don't care what the Chiefs' record is. Don't go to Arrowhead and come home 1-3. Then we really have to start examining it. And what we're examining this morning is what Manti talked about, what Willie just talked about. The Ravens just don't look very tough right now. They just don't. They're getting run on. They can't protect their quarterback. They're getting sacked. They have the biggest, strongest running back. They have the fastest, most athletic quarterback. Why are they having so much trouble at the goal line? Is it because their offensive line is not playing well? Their defensive line is not playing well. It's just like, if the Ravens lose playing Ravens football, I'll live with that. That's fine. They're still going to. This isn't the Ravens that I know going back to 25 years. You don't see Ravens teams like this. They lose, but not by getting body blowed over and over and over. These are like liver shots, man. They're down in one knee holding their rib cage. That's not the Ravens I've seen. And I would say, there needs to be an attitude adjustment for the next game. They need to hit. They need to block better because I will give you the benefit of the doubt of my respect for you. 1-3 is 1-3. And then you're talking about road playoff games, all this stuff you don't want to be talking about for a team that should be running away with the North and securing at least one home playoff game. Don't go to 1-3 because the schedule isn't getting any easier.
The last couple of highlights we just saw and then the slow motion emotion shots are of Lamar Jackson, a prolific quarterback, an MVP in the NFL. However, he looks frustrated. He's not playing within himself. I look at the other teams right now in the NFL that we are fawning over, and it oftentimes aligns with, if not every time, a quarterback who is playing at max capacity to his best identity, to his fullest self. I'm thinking of the Bills and Josh Allen, the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield, and the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. Those are three teams that come to mind immediately where, wow, that quarterback is fully playing to his full potential. Lamar Jackson, Manti, it doesn't seem like he is of the Lamar Jackson hype and status and lore that we are used to.
Well, I think last year when there was a big surprise that everybody had with his ability to throw the ball, I think they're trying to lean maybe a little bit too much to him being that type of thrower. No, what happened to the days of, I remember watching the Baltimore Ravens, that this is what made them so difficult when going against them and Lamar Jackson is they would use these tight ends in ways to influence people in the defense. Like knowing that when you're going against a guy like Lamar Jackson and that style of offense, we're going to play man coverage against you. We're going to stack the box. And so Mark Andrews would do these things where he would just go directly to the flat. What that did for our defense is it took the guy that was guarding Mark Andrews and took him out of the box. Now, regardless if you followed him or not, now that gave Lamar Jackson the opportunity to decide, am I going to take off in that hole that you just vacated because you went outside with my tight end? Or if you didn't, I'm just going to hit Mark Andrews. I think, going back to my first point, they're trying to get too pretty with it. They're trying to get too cute. Go back to running the ball downhill with Derrick Henry and using those tight ends in various ways like they used to, whether Lamar's going to give it or take it and use Mark Andrews as a lead blocker or a receiver. I think they need to go back to that instead of trying to sit back there and look, wait, and deliver the football.
Yeah, and I thought defensively they missed Matabikwe last night, man. I thought he was the anchor of that defensive line. And when you saw that young interior of the Detroit Lions really lean on the Ravens' defensive line, it was that type of lack of impact that really kind of sparked why the Lions felt so comfortable coming downhill. Also, Marlon Humphreys, I know he was dealing with an injury last night. It looked like something was nagging him, but he was exposed. So if you're on the defensive side for the Ravens right now, you're going to have to figure out, man, how can we stop the run? Because what happened last night, you got exposed by a very good offense in the Detroit Lions, but two running backs who had a field day on you.
They absolutely did. Kyle, you mentioned something that piqued my interest with the AFC North, that the Ravens, they could or they should, depending on how you look at this team and the way it was built coming into the season, they could have been the runaway with this division. However, you're seeing a Cleveland team have some moxie against the Bengals in week 1 and the Packers last week. Bengals, they're going to figure their stuff out. But the Steelers, they've got a quarterback. They're going to go play in international territory now. What are you thinking about this division, what you thought 4 weeks ago coming into today?
I think the Ravens should run away with it still. I mean, they've been given breaks, man. Listen, the Joe Burrow injury is a massive, massive thing for the Ravens. It's a big deal. Joe Burrow has carved them for years. Cleveland, great win. I don't think anybody's handing them any title belts. And Pittsburgh is heavily, heavily flawed. Like, the Ravens, they should be looking at, like, we want to go 6-0 in the division. Like, that should be a goal of theirs. So, and listen, maybe they will. They beat the Browns handily. We'll see where this goes. But again, next week, no matter what happens to Kansas City, like, come to fight. Come to fight. Rush the passer. Protect Lamar. Like, I don't care about the running back passes. Like, hit somebody because they're not really hitting anybody.